morning, friends. Today, I'm not sure how much sunrise we're gonna get. A little cloudy today, but that's actually kind of fitting, which often seems to happen. But today we're talking about waiting. I remember as a child, this time of year, the waiting was all about waiting for Christmas. That seemed like it was never gonna come. For many of us right now, it probably feels like waiting for this pandemic to end. Every time we think we've gotten to some kind of conclusion, it seems that there is some new wave, some new crop up. Maybe there's other things you're waiting for in your life, waiting to hear about a new job, waiting for love, waiting for a baby to be born. Isn't that appropriate for this season for Christian folks? But there's lots of waiting, and we can always find something that we're waiting for. And that can feel very frustrating. We're not very good at waiting. I'll speak for me. I'm not very good at waiting. I don't consider patience one of my strongest qualities or attributes. And that makes waiting very difficult. It can feel very frustrating. And if we're focused on just the waiting, then that can be all we can see. Sort of that monkey mind, that internal mental hamster wheel picks up, and all we can think about is, sort of these swirling thoughts about this thing we're waiting on. Maybe it's a project we want to complete, or whatever it is, and that can be very frustrating and all-consuming. Sometimes my prayer is literally, God, help me get off this hamster wheel. The mental clutter can kind of take over and remove my sense of peace. But I don't think waiting has to be that way, because here's what I also think is true. Rarely is what we're waiting for going to happen all at once. Usually, in my experience, whatever it is that we're waiting for, whatever transformative moment, is less of an instant and more of an unfolding, which tells me that whatever it is I'm waiting for is already in progress, already in process. The scripture stories, Jesus is gesticulating. That's the wrong word, isn't it? Jesus is being born, being created right now in Mary's womb. And that great scene where Mary goes and sees her cousin Elizabeth, and the babies, they're both pregnant, and they have this big, joyful connection. And it says that Elizabeth's baby, Mary's cousin, jumps in her womb. So even then, things were unfolding. The baby in Elizabeth's room, by the way, is John the Baptist, the one who's always announcing the coming of the Christ, right? So even then, it's like, this is already unfolding. John's role is already unfolding. Jesus's role is already unfolding, even in this pregnant moment. So can we have some hope that whatever it is already unfolding? And maybe, just maybe, that gives us a little space to set aside sort of the monkey mind, the hamster wheel of running thoughts and obsessing over what's going to happen next, or when this is going to happen, or when that will be over, or when that will start. Because we won't know. Those are endless possibilities for anxiety and worry. And the reality is, everything's impermanent anyway. What we do get a choice about is how we engage the waiting. And my learning right now is to trust that the unfolding is already happening, is already in progress. To know what is mine to do and leave the rest to God, because it's out of my control anyway. And it's still going to crop up, y'all. The to-do list waking you up in the middle of the night and all that stuff. It's still going to happen. But maybe with practice, I think it is a practice, we find ways to learn to set aside the anxiety, that can get no answers is never satiated, the list that is never complete. And just honor that that part is going to be there, and that's okay, because the unfolding is already happening. The labor pains are already in progress. The book of John in the scriptures is different from Matthew, Mark, and Luke, right? Matthew, Mark, and Luke tell some version of the birth story, and John tells this story about, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and all things came into being through the Word. And this is how he describes the coming of the Christ, right? Like the Christ energy through which all things come into being. Just a different sort of metaphor or mythology than, coming in the form of a baby. And I like that in this season of waiting, because it invites me to know that the Christ event, if you will, has been unfolding since the beginning of time and continues to unfold. And I believe that's true within me as well, and within you. So if we can just sort of embrace the slow unfolding and find some ways to, even for a little bit, even for an hour, set aside our anxiety, our busyness, our lists, and embrace that whatever it is that we're waiting on is happening. And so much of it's outside our control anyway, so maybe we can take a deep breath and find some hope and some trust and some faith that it's all coming together. It is. So often we can make sense of these things after they've happened. We see little points of light that put together wherever we are now. And I'm wondering if maybe we could set aside some of our anxiety and impatience. Maybe we'd see those points of light along the way. So my hope and my prayer for you is that you see all those little signposts, that you find some patience in the midst of the waiting, that you're able to get off your hamster wheel, set aside your monkey mind, and engage the beauty and the trust that all is unfolding exactly as it should. And the next time I talk to you will be after Christmas. So Merry Christmas, friends. It's an exciting time. Grace and peace.